All right, so that's how we start the show this beautiful Monday afternoon. Welcome to 94.9 32 FM. I am Peter Omo. Yes, there you have it. Chelsea, the color. Chelsea is the name. Say whatever I want to put it. Oh, that argument of the pride of London. If you have to tick the boxes of what makes you the pride of London, then Chelsea have got all of those numbers. So Chelsea is the club. Chelsea is the name. Congratulations to Chelsea Football Club and their fans. Okay, so we talk about the Club World Cup. I've been joined on the show this afternoon by Blessing, and of course, the SAMIES here right here with me in the studio. So we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to dwell on, a lot to discuss, and maybe analyze and disagree about some of these things. XW19 also got us talking over the weekend. Who were you rooting for to win? Was it Carlos Alcaraz or it was Yannick Sinner? Well, Sinner got it, and of course, 𝐒𝐏 also won in the women's final on Saturday. And of course, we had that on this dial. The BBC brought us every minute of this year's XW19 final, the women's final now. And we'll take a look at some transfer news, take a look at sort of WAFCON, the women's championship going on in Morocco, where the Falcons have qualified for the quarterfinal of this year's African Championship for Women. Blessings, a pleasure having you on the show. And when we have this kind of setup and there's a lot to look forward to, then you begin to just check if everything I've got down will work. It's always tough when you have programs outlined and then you have to, things just have the way they be. So I'm also prepared for all of these. SAMIES is also here with me, like I said, and together we'll talk about all that transpired over the weekend. Let's start with all the talking points. Blessing, I know you didn't join us on Friday to look at the final, but I know you're a sincere person. So where were you pitching your tent in that final? Because I said on this dial on 2-3 occasions last week that Chelsea have what it takes to win, and that happened. So Blessing, what was it like before the final and after the final? Let's start with that, and then we'll begin to pick some of the salient issues on the show this afternoon. SAMIES also will be his thought about some of these things. Blessing, good afternoon to you. How do you do? All right. So while we wait to kind of establish link back with her, SAMIES, I don't know if we have Blessing back with us. If we do, then
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Can
we can hear you now.
Okay. I said I don't know why it feels like you set me off at the very blast of the whistle. Like, following how both teams have played, how they performed. They have been devastatingly good. And I said that because I look at how they were able to dispatch Atletico Madrid with ease, how they've gone through tough teams. Like they had the hardest part of the draw, the hardest side of the draw, and they were still able to take care of those teams, much less without any stress whatsoever. The only game that I thought they struggled, no, actually 2 games they struggled. The first one was against Botafogo, which they lost by a goal to nil. They're only defeated heading into the final. And then the game against Bayern Munich, they struggled against Bayern Munich, but only in the first half of that game. When they returned in the second half, they kind of took charge, they took control. And, from there onward, it was like a smooth sail. So I would understand why a lot of people will pitch tents, with Paris Saint-Germain. Chelsea, on the other hand, they fell on the easiest part of the draw. A lot of people will say they were lucky to get to the finals because you're playing Benfica, you're playing Palmeiras. I think they played 3 Brazilian sides, on their way to the final. And since that defeat to Flamengo, they kind of found their way around the Brazilians, knowing how to play them. So you could look at that and say, yeah, they had the easiest side of the draw. And, get to the final. You wouldn't really say, okay, maybe they could have been able to match Paris Saint-Germain. But what I would give Enzo Maresca credit for is the fact that he didn't allow the noise get to him. It didn't allow the pressure get to him and the team. Understanding we needed to go out there and get a job done, and they did. And what I noticed from that game is the fact that it was first and foremost able to shut down the wing. And PSG are a pressing side. They are they like to press you so high. If you have watched their kickoff routine, where they are kicking the ball straight to you just because they want to be able to press you from the get. From the blast of the wheels, but they were able to forestall all of that so much that they were now the ones doing the pressing, if I can put it that way, pretty much shutting out, allowing the goalkeeper Sanchez to send ball over the top to Malo Gusto on the right hand side, and then you have this combination with Kopama and Malo Gusto, just Kopama particularly having space to run into. Like Kopama had a lot of space to move into, so much that it was so free in the box. And the first goal and the second goal were very, very identical. And even before that goal, they had Chelsea had a chance that was very similar to those goals that were eventually. So it just showed you that they came with the game plan, understanding that PSG are a side that like to press, and if you're able to take it from them and then find something to counter their press, which was what they did with Sanchez, loading the ball all the way to Malo Gusto, and then from there, Nuno Mendes was, found in no man's land. It was just incredible, and we've got to give credit to Chelsea for being able to take that game, by the scruff of the neck and just practically dominating from the blast of the whistle to the very end of the game.
You see, there's this thing that we call around here in the office. It's called scope. You know what scope means? If you don't know, okay, maybe not good for you. But Blessing, don't use these things for me. There's a question.
You kept saying we, the people,
Yeah.
fans. Baba, where did you?
So you are here to tell
What
me.
side of the fence did you
Wait,
say?
this fence that I will pull you down. I push you here. I push you here. You just you jump, I push you. There's one. So you just all this analysis. I get it. I understand it. I will still go back. Just tell me the club. You cannot escape. You cannot say everything you said. I put them down.
You guys you have the answers to that question.
I don't have the answer.
I was getting tracked by Chelsea fans all over Africa last week Saturday. Like 2 Saturdays ago, I was getting dragged all over just because I looked at the game and I liked the game. Chelsea will get to the final. I need to get to the final, but I was just so sure that PSG again dominates.
I get,
Yes.
I understand. I deliberately wanted you to say it because your analysis where you said PSG had the stronger route to the final, Chelsea had a lesser one. So I knew that from that analysis, you were tinting towards PSG to win. SAMIES, FIFA, they've released the 11. Bono, the Moroccan goalkeeper for Al-Hilal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Marco Cucurella, and Vitinha, Enzo Maresca, and
Fernandez.
then Enzo Fernandez, Neto, Arias, who is joining Wolves, from what I gathered. Blessing, I saw you also responded to that on social media in the last few minutes. Is joining Wolves from Fluminense. There's Gonzalo Garcia, who scored 4 goals, the young boy from Real, and of course, Cole Palmer, who won the MVP. So, SAMIES, there you have it. So, SAMIES, I know that your argument here was solid before the final. You were saying PSG will kill, will destroy, will decimate. Use all the English that you want to use. But you have come back now. So
That's what they say when they say in football, 2 + 2 won't give you 4.
but you knew these things and you were still saying PSG to win.
It was just evident. I never saw this crack in the Paris Saint-Germain side until last night. The way Chelsea set up their team, or Enzo Maresca, how we set up the team to go man for man. What we talk about the structure in which Paris Saint-Germain they actually have been playing for over 5-6 months. Because one particular moment came, or is still living rent-free in my head. That was in the first half, where there was a long ball played to that's Achraf Hakimi, and the only man I saw tracking Hakimi was Pedro Neto, not Cucurella. That was Pedro Neto. And then you ask the question, where is Cucurella? Is of course one where on the field of play with Desiree Doué, whom of course, I didn't take the chance upon himself to maybe fire Paris Saint-Germain ahead into that in that encounter. But above all, it was a great game of football yesterday, where also they won the title, and now the maiden edition of the expanded FIFA Club World Cup. They've won it all as well, defeating the almighty Paris Saint-Germain, who has defeated lots of teams and route the finals of this that's talking about the FIFA Club World Cup, even the UEFA Champions League. And then you see that Chelsea, indeed, they are the pride of London. Maybe that's not maybe now. They are actually the pride of London, and there has been conversations about Chelsea being the performing side outside England, because they have the trophies to show for it. And for the next 4 years, they will wear the badge of the FIFA Club World Cup champion, which definitely is going to be a great one till the year 2029.
All right. So that badge would go off the sleeve of Manchester City.
Yeah.
Yes, it will get out of that sleeve. And another side from England, based in London, Chelsea Football Club would have that badge. So let's come down to some of the things that, I want us to talk about in a few minutes because, like I said, I have a lot for us to discuss. So, Blessing, what was the weak point? Because I thought these Parisians don't have any weak points. When you saw the way they took two teams from one city in Spain, both Real and Atletico beat the both of them 4-4 in that one. 9-man in the game against Bayern, they won by 2-0. And the other teams, bar Botafogo, who they lost against, and of course, I know Chelsea, but they were just good. So what was the weak point? How did Maresca got this spot on?
Oh, there were weaknesses. There were weaknesses in that PSG side, but it wasn't just obvious for a lot of people to see, for a lot of teams to see. But if you go back and watch that game against Botafogo, watch the first half of the game against Bayern Munich, then you will probably see any team that refuses to allow them play their press, and you're able to lock shop in the midfield, lock Vitinha up. Vitinha is not able to orchestrate or run an orchestra in the middle of the park, and then you are locking Hakimi up, and Nuno Mendes. Honestly, you have taken the key away from that team, and it's also why Luis Enrique himself, because I thought, come on, he probably should have a plan B at that point in time. If they had figured out your game, they had pretty much locked out your game. So what do you do? What's your plan B? How do you expect to come out of that? I was talking about Chelsea's press, PSG's pressing earlier on, and according to the metrics, to the numbers that I ran some numbers 2 days ago before the final, and I saw that they were second team with press. Like, of course, they like to play press, but Bayern Munich played a lot more with press than PSG. But if you go back to that game against Bayern Munich again, you see that Michael Olise was running riot on that left wing on the left hand side for PSG. That's Nuno Mendes. He was running riot, like literally cutting through that defense until second half. The whole game changed entirely on his head. So the moment they were able to lock Vitinha up, and then they were not interested in their play tap pass ball, launch the ball off from Sanchez to Malo Gusto on the right, get the ball to either Cole Palmer or even João Pedro to the wings. Just moving in and space in between the center backs, and also create space between the defense and the midfield. At that point, it was game over. But I just felt that AK should have more tricks going according to plan. If it's not going according to how it's set up, so what do you do? What's your plan B? How do you change your style to be able to ensure that at least you see more of the ball and you're able to do something with the ball? Because what are you going to do with it? What are you converting chances? Are you winning the first balls? Are you matters that those are the moments that actually matter a lot? And unfortunately, Enrique lost his head at the end of the game, going on to the which
SAMIES, that's weak point.
Well, if you ask me, the weak points, maybe Enrique, but then the manager would also be on the field, actually dictate to your gameplay for you at times. Because prior to, was it the second goal that was scored, I saw Nuno Mendes making a call to that Kezia that make a run back, come and make this marking for me. But that didn't happen. And at the end of that sequence, it was a goal for Chelsea Football Club. So you look at all of these things. Well, tactical approach to that encounter also would show that the Parisians were lacking something. And then I think I was here last week discussing about how Paris Saint-Germain make use of their attacking players. For Kezia, he's the one who is mostly on the flank. And you talk about Doué and Dembele. These guys, they actually are moving between both flanks. There is an interchange between these guys. And Doué, most especially, doesn't stay on the flank. He inverts. And that was an easy option for Chelsea Football Club to counter on. And then you saw the man-to-man marking in which Chelsea deployed also in that game. And you talk about Vitinha, João Neves, and Fabian Ruiz. Well, these guys were unable to think on the ball and even off the ball. That's because of the aggressiveness in Moises Caicedo and who else? Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, and the way they attack or approach or chase down these players. And well, mind you, this could have all gone the other way round if, from what Enzo Maresca put out there, if it didn't work out, it would have been why start Reece James that's in midfield against a Paris Saint-Germain side. But it was all down to that. Maybe the reason why I see him outseeing Kylian Mbappe in the team is also played out yesterday, because I saw they added little or no to the defensive setup of the Parisians.
So let's jump over with the little time I have left on the show. Let's talk about the women, because they are the ones taking the headlines. I know we're done now with the Club World Cup, so the women will take more these headlines. WAFCON, the Euros also going on. Now we know the quarterfinal setup for the women in terms of the European Championship going on in Switzerland. For us on the continent, 2 more games tonight, and then we'll settle, or let me say almost settled. So we've got our game coming up against Zambia. Blessing, these girls have been lacking in terms of goals. 3 games, 4 games, 4 goals.